Hello, my friends. Welcome to my channel. My name is Sarah, and this is the relaunch of my channel, Every Day with Sarah J. I had posted a video a couple of years ago, and I don't remember if it was last year or the year before, but it was right about this time. And I said, hey, I'm going to relaunch my channel, and I am going to be doing more vlogs and more everyday life type of things. And then that didn't totally happen. I was super spacey. I was crazy busy. Obviously, the last year and a half has been nuts for a lot of people. I was finishing up a degree program, and then I was doing a really tough certification exam. So that's where I was, that's where I've been. But I posted a video about a week ago now when you're seeing this. And I said that we were relaunching, and I'm probably going to be focused primarily on BookTube and reading vlogs and that type of thing. But I will, periodically still be posting some Project Pan and makeup use up type of things. But for the most part, focusing on the BookTube content. That's kind of what I got drawn into when I was studying, was a lot of study vlogs and reading vlogs and that type of thing. So that's mainly where my focus is for right now. So as I said in my last video, I thought that it would be super appropriate, since we are relaunching today. And today, the day that you're hopefully watching this, the day that it's posting anyways, is my birthday. I thought we would do a tag. So I found online, I think I just Googled meet the booktuber tag, and I found a bunch of questions to ask. So I wanted to go ahead and do that with you today. Oh, and while we're at it, let's talk about this amazing phone case. So this is, I think I have the iPhone, what is it? The 12 Pro Max. Yeah. So, cause I like a giant phone. But this case I adore, and I have had so many people comment on it. I did not create it myself. I got it from Casetify. The only thing that I did was I chose the background color, but the design itself was already there. I just found it and I love it, so I bought it. So I found a tag. It's called the BookTube Newbie tag, and so since I am a newbie to BookTube, I thought this would be appropriate. This was created by Brenda C, and I don't actually know if she is still on BookTube or YouTube, because it does say her entire channel is private. So anyway, thank you, Brenda. We will be using your questions and your tag, and we appreciate it. Let's go ahead and get started. So question number one is, why did you start this channel? So I sort of alluded to this earlier. I actually started this channel as a Project Pan or makeup use up type of channel. I have loved the beauty community on YouTube for ages and ages and ages. I've watched different influencers, and I've watched different beauty gurus, and I am not a guru by any stretch of the imagination. I am not a makeup artist. Those are just not talents that I have. However, I enjoy makeup, and I have a lot of it. So I felt like when I decided to join YouTube, so I joined YouTube about, I want to say maybe 4 years ago. And one of the reasons why I did that is because when I was in college, my first time around several years ago, I was actually a broadcasting major. And so I love to be in front of the camera and I love to have an audience. And I love just this type of community that we're so, it's so accessible, you know, that you can comment on a video and the person who created and posted that video can literally comment back and start a conversation within minutes with you. And, you know, it's not like sending off fan mail or a tweet or something to like some celebrity that either will never see it or will never respond to it. So I love that this is such a close-knit, you know, there's no barrier here from between the creator and the community. So I love that. And so that was really why I started. I started in project panning. And then, like I said, I kind of fell off of that as I was finishing my studies, and that got really intense. And then I decided that I wanted to try my hand at BookTube, and I wanted to, you know, become involved in the community here. And so here I am. Okay, question number 2 is, what are some fun and unique things you can bring to BookTube? So I feel like this is a little bit of a complicated question because the BookTube community, it's very saturated. So like if you want a particular genre, there are 1,002 different booktubers that you can follow for that only read thrillers, or that only read middle grade, or, you know, that only read chick lit or romances, or, you know, and so what I feel like I bring that is unique is my worldview and my perspective. So you probably can tell I am a little bit older than the typical demographic for, you know, for a typical booktuber. I have a husband and I have a 3-year-old child, and I have a full-time career. And like I said, up until a few months ago, I was a full-time student as well. So, you know, I do have this whole other life, that is outside of BookTube. And so I feel like when I am reading a synopsis for a book, or as I am reading the book itself, or even as I'm reviewing the book, I come from a different worldview than a lot of other booktubers that are not necessarily in my age demographic. And so I see that character or that book that I'm reading through my own world lens. And so I feel like to some degree, each of us bring that, and that is unique to each creator. But because I am a bit outside of the typical demographic, I do certainly feel like that is something that will make me unique. Question number 3. What are you most excited for about this new channel? I love books and I love reading, and I have said many, many times about myself that I am a lifetime learner and a perpetual student. And I sort of alluded to it in my previous answer, where I love the community aspect of YouTube and of social media, and just the closeness between the creator and the community. So that's something that I'm really, really excited about. I am also really excited to connect with other people who share my passion for learning and my love of books and literature. And that's something that I don't have in my day-to-day life. So that is certainly something that I am really, really looking forward to cultivating on this channel and in this environment. Question number 4 is, why do you love reading? And really for me, reading is, I don't necessarily want to say it's like an escape, but it is certainly, if you need it to be an escape, it certainly can be that. But it's really more of a way to experience life outside of your little bubble. You know, when we were kids, we didn't go on extravagant vacations. You know, we would drive for several hours and visit the grandparents. And, you know, we would do that a couple of times a year. Or we would go like up to northern Michigan and stay in a cabin with just our family, or, so we didn't go on these huge exorbitant vacations or see a ton of the world or anything like that. So I feel like reading is a way to do that. It's a way to see other parts of the country or other parts of the world, but it's just another way to sort of get outside of your own, like I said, outside of your own little bubble. I live in a very small town here in Texas, and, there are people who have never left this area. And so I feel like reading is a way to do that, to see things from other people's perspectives and experience things outside of your little area. Question number 5 is, which book or series got you into reading? And I really don't know how to answer this one. I have been a lover of reading literally since I can remember. I was not an early reader. I was a middle kid, so I didn't actually know how to read until I got to school. I learned in, kindergarten or first grade. I didn't have parents who had the time to sit down with me when I was 3 and 4 and teach me how to read. So I didn't learn to read until I was in school. But I truly had just this love of learning and this love of reading. And I can remember being in, I remember my kindergarten teacher's name, and I can remember being in her class and thinking like, I really want to be good at this, because I just thought like, wow, if you can read and if you can be a good reader, like, you're hot stuff. I realize that sounds a little bit ridiculous, but like, I just remember thinking that would be such a big deal when I was going to be a really great reader. Question number 6 is, what questions would you ask your favorite booktubers? And I don't really know how to answer this. I mean, I guess the challenge for me, anytime that I have tried to keep up with social media, or any time that I have, tried to post consistently, even on this channel, is the consistency, is finding that balance where, like I said, I have a 3-year-old son and I have a husband and I work full-time outside of the home. And so I would love to know how other booktubers who are potentially in my same situation or who have similar outside commitments, how they balance that, and how they keep that consistency, and how they keep to a steady schedule of posting and engagement, and that type of thing. I feel like that's going to be one of the big challenges for me. Okay, and I think I just answered question number 7, because the question is, what challenges do you think starting a BookTube channel will be the hardest to overcome? And I really do think that it will be the consistency. I think that it will be a challenge for me just to balance everything. Now, as I have said in the past, I do have a son. He's 3. He turned 3 about a month and a half ago. And when I have in the past, as I've been trying to post and to keep up with this channel, I was a full-time student. I did work full-time outside of the home, and I did have my little, what I call my Velcro baby. So he was like super needy and always really, really attached to me. As he is now a little bit older, and I wouldn't say necessarily self-sufficient, but he certainly can entertain himself for small bits of time. And as I am no longer a full-time student, that is kind of put away now. I don't have to worry about that anymore. I do feel like I have a little bit of extra free time, and I do, I do have a little bit more flexibility and time to commit to this channel. And so I am very, very hopeful that that won't pose quite as much of a challenge for me as it has in the past. Okay, I feel like I'm just answering my own questions again. Question number 8 is, when did you start reading? And again, I was not a super early reader. I feel like I'm kind of making up for it now, because I constantly have a book in my hand, or I'm constantly listening to an audiobook, or I've got my Kindle, or, so I feel like I'm still catching up even years and years later. But I did not read before I started attending school. I did go to public school for my entire primary education and secondary education. And so I'm just a public school kid, and I learned in, kindergarten, first grade, and I loved it from the word go. But yeah, I was not a super, super early reader. Question number 9 is, where do you read? So this is going to sound funny, but I have 2 places where I really love to read. So first of all, I just mentioned audiobooks. I love to listen to audiobooks as I am working throughout the day. I do work in an office with other people. There are 6 of us all together that work in our office. And so I love to have something that kind of like blocks out everybody else. And so I will constantly have my AirPods in, and I will be either, every now and then I want to listen to music, but for the most part, I will listen to audiobooks. And so I am flying through books this year ever since I started that. I think I truly did start in like December or January of this year, December of last year or January of this year. And I just started listening to audiobooks, and I am just flying through my TBR list, and I love it. So that's my one method of reading. So I would say pretty much anywhere, but mostly at work or in the car is where I listen to audiobooks. The second place that I love to read is in my bed. You can see that I have like this fuzzy blanket right here, like this throw blanket. This is not my bed, obviously, but I show you that because I love to be just like wrapped up in a super cozy blanket, or even like in my robe, and like tucked up under the covers. I love my bed, and so I love to read in my bed. The other place that I love to read, which maybe could potentially sound a little bit weird, but I mentioned that I bought a Kindle recently, and this has been one of my best investments for this year. I have taken this on the go with me. I have like taken pictures all over town of like me sitting in the park and, reading on my Kindle, and me getting a pedicure and reading on my Kindle. And so at some point I am going to put all of those together just to show you, like, my husband was like, you like real books. Did you really need to get a Kindle? And I'm like, yes. And this is why, because I can take it everywhere and I have all of my books on it. So I am going to post that hopefully pretty soon, showing you all the different uses that I have for, or all the different places that I've taken my Kindle. But one of the places that I have been taking my Kindle is when I put my son to bed. I will put him to bed, and then I'll rub his back for a few minutes, and we'll kind of just like calm down and settle in, and all that kind of thing. And then as he's like settling in and dozing off to sleep, I will power up my Kindle, and there is a light on it. This is the Kindle Paperwhite, and so there is a light on it so that I can actually read on this in the dark as he is dozing off and falling to sleep. So I have found that is a way for me to get just a little bit of extra me time in, and a little bit of extra reading time in. And some nights, depending on how long it takes him to fall asleep, I can get maybe 20 to 30, sometimes even about 40 minutes of extra reading in. So those are my favorite places currently to read. Like I said, may sound a little bit weird, but that's a mom hack for you. If you have kids that you need to put down to bed, get yourself a Kindle and just settle in. And finally, we have question number 10. So number 10 is, what kind of books do you like to read? There was a time when I would say I love chick lit. I love a good romance, and I still do. I still do love those types of books. However, back at the beginning of the year, I joined a book club, like a real life book club that's here in my town. And those girls, wow, they have really opened up my eyes to different genres. We've read several books that are historical fiction, so I wouldn't say necessarily that I'm like a massive fan of historical fiction, but I am kind of, you know, dipping a toe in. And then I have found that what they choose a lot of the times are thrillers, and particularly psychological thrillers. Not necessarily like body horror or, you know, anything like that. Because let me tell you, if you mess with an animal or if you mess with a kid, I'm out. I don't want anything to do with it. But I am starting to enjoy a nice psychological thriller. And so that is something that has really surprised me in the last several months. Something that I am, again, just dipping my toe into, but I'm really starting to get into the genre. So friends, that is everything that I have to share with you today. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope that you are as excited as I am to relaunch this channel and to really get into different things that we love about reading and different books and authors. I truly know nothing except what I have learned from BookTube and from Bookstagram. So now I have a TBR list that's like 3 miles long, but here's what I would love for you to do for me. If you have a favorite book or a favorite author that you would like to recommend to me, please leave me a comment down below. And if you just want to say hey and just, you know, acknowledge that you were here and that you watched my video, I would love for you to comment down below as well. I am going to leave all of my info down below, including my Instagram handle, because I am really trying to not only increase my increase my followers over on Instagram, but I'm also way more active on Instagram. It's much easier for me to just like take a couple of pictures and post them over there rather than to, that's a little bit easier than having to sit down and plan out a video and make time for it and then the editing and all that stuff. So if you want to continue to be engaged with me, which I hope you will, go ahead and jump on over to Instagram and follow me there and leave a comment down below and say hi. Thanks so much for watching, friends. I'll talk to you really soon. Bye.